Hello boys and girls. Today we will be showing you how to make your very own face cookie cutters. So that's my face there. As you can tell, handsome devil, right? We will be designing this, our iPad Pro here, in Affinity Designer. Awesome app. And then we will import that into Tinkercad for the 3D modeling aspect of it, then putting that into our slicer and then printing it out on our 3D printer. I'm gonna have to add a little bit around the hair there. Alright, so we're simply going to trace over this. I'm gonna have to add a little bit. Here's a little bit spiky. Looks pretty badass in my opinion. Alright, so I'm going to clean this up a little bit and then we will import it into Tinkercad. Alright, so now we have to connect all of these vector lines. So how we are going to connect the lines, we are simply going to select each one of these vector curves on this layer. Alright. We go to here, we are going to expand the stroke. That turns those lines into actual objects. Then we will add all of these. And that makes it one big object. An object of lines there. Alright, so that's how you got that. Now, we have this vector curve here as well as this vector curve. We are going to expand the strokes of these and we are going to add that as well. And then add again. Bam! Look at that right there. So we have the inside of the face is one object. Now we also want to make the outer line here an object as well. Right now it's just lines. We are going to expand stroke. Now it is considered an object. Before it was a line, now it's an object. And we will leave it like it is. Actually, before we do that, I need to make a duplicate of this. So we are going to back up. Let's make a duplicate. See here. Duplicate. And I will show you the reason for that a little bit later. Expand stroke. Alright, so our duplicate layer is going to be the very bottom layer of the cookie cutter. And we are going to expand the stroke of it a little bit more. We want a little bit thicker for our base, the base of the cookie cutter. Now we will expand the stroke of this and bam. Alright, let's make this a different color just to differentiate the two. So the orange pretty much represents the stamp and the cutter. The green back behind there is going to be the base. That pretty much is just a part of holding the stamp or cutter together. Now what I'm going to do is print this twice, but I'm going to print it just like this, and I'm going to print it without the inside part. This part is going to be the cutter, and with all of it together is going to be simply the stamp. Alright, so we are going to basically add these two rectangles behind there, and that's going to give it support to hold all of the cookie cutter together. It's not going to be a flat piece back there. We're going to have two rectangles going across in a cross section to hold all of this together for the stamp portion. Now, making the cookie cutter, all we will have is the outer area there. So let's go ahead and import this into Tinkercad. So here we are in Tinkercad. We are going to start a new design. On our iPad Pro, we are going to select our base layer first. The base layer of the outer edge, the circular part. We are going to export this. Export. We are going to export it as an SVG. Tinkercad can accept SVGs. Deselect all these things. We are going to export the selection without the background. Exporting that into my Dropbox. We are going to import it into Tinkercad. Alright, and we are going to have to reduce the scale of this to 10%. Now we are going to leave this as it is for now. We'll come back to it later. Alright, so that is the base outer line. Now we will export the actual cookie cutter part of the outer area. Export. Selection without background. Alright, exported. Now we will import that portion into Tinkercad. 10%. Alright, now we select this pink, the pink area there, and we raise that up. Alright, so back to the iPad. We are going to export just the inside now. 10%. Import. Alright. Let's pull this up. Now we are going to have to realign this a little bit as well. Turn this off. Pull the ruler down here. So that's 41 high. Let's make it 40 high. And make the intersection 40 high as well. Alright, so that's nice and flush. We're going to have to import our two rectangular pieces also. I'm going to combine these and export that as one cross, big cross. Export. Selection without background, SVG. Alright, so importing the cross, 10% scale. Alright, and we need to maneuver the cross around a little bit. Alright, that should be good. And now we are going to select all of this and scale it down. Just 10 millimeters high. There you have it, 75 millimeters tall, 60 millimeters wide. Alright, So now that we have all the pieces imported in here, we are going to group all of them. Now that all of it is grouped, we are going to export this as an STL. All right, we got that exported. That is the stamp. Now we are going to export the cutter. Now we are going to back up a little bit. We are going to remove the inside, the face, and the cross. We're going to recombine this, and then we are going to export this as well. Alright, so now that we have the STLs exported, we are going to load them up in our slicer. I like to use Cura. This is 3.4.1. I'm going to drag the stamp in here. I have this set up for the TiVo Tarantula right now. I have a 0.3 nozzle on it, so I changed the line width to 0.3 as well. This is going to be 1 millimeter high, 100% infill density, 220 printing temperature, 230 initial printing temperature, 70 degrees Celsius on the build plate, 60 millimeters per second speed, and I have brim setting for the build plate adhesion. We're going to prepare this, put it on our SD card. So that's the stamp there. Now we need to put the cutter there as well. Same settings, prepare, removable drive, and it is saved to our SD card as well. So now we will just inject that into our TiVo Tarantula printer and print these puppies out. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you did enjoy the video and learn how to make cookie cutters of your own. This is only part 1. Part 2, I will be actually getting some dough, getting some cookie dough, and stamping the dough and actually baking the cookies. So yes, make sure to hit subscribe, follow, like, all those good things, and come back for more.